Hey Adam, it's Luke from Nine News in Sydney here, mate. Congratulations on 100 NRL games. It's a great milestone. Have you had a chance to think about it at all? And if so, what does it mean to play 100 games?
Yeah, thanks, Luke. It's something that I am pretty proud of. I don't usually read too far into individual achievements. I think as a player in the NRL, everything should be about your team and your club, but this one in particular, I have had a bit of a reflection on, and obviously being in the bubble and not being able to have my family and friends up, people that all came to my debut and that have been there for other big milestones. So it has been brought up a little bit in a few different group chats and family chats. So it's been a good time to reflect on it and think about my journey.
And in the last couple of days or so, you've had a couple of new players join the group, Ryan James and Corey Horsburgh. What's it been like having them as part of the team, and have they brought sort of some energy into the group?
Yeah, so we had yesterday off and didn't see the boys. We all sort of, stayed to our own a little bit and just tried to get away from footy for the day, and then got in this morning and had both Corey and Ryan join us, and they've fit in really seamlessly. I think the boys are really excited to have them. It's a bizarre situation. There's no doubting that. It's strange. We've been here and they've been walking around in Raiders kit, for a month now, and we cross paths and you sort of say g'day and go about your day. But now they're wearing Bulldogs gear and we're strapping up next to them this weekend. So it's I think it's just another one of those things that you got to recognise that it's probably nearly a once in a generation, once in a lifetime sort of opportunity and situation that we're in, and you've got to make the most of it. And it might be the last time that I get to play with either of those blokes, and we'll definitely be making the most of it and trying to get the most out of them for the game this weekend. They're both definitely excited to play too.
Yeah, for you guys in what's been a tough year, do you think they can bring in some energy and give some positivity to the group?
Yeah, well, I think they're coming from a team that's sitting higher than us on the ladder, which is obviously a positive, and they're both very accomplished players themselves. So I think they're professionals. They're coming into the squad. They don't need to learn anything. They're coming in and obviously they need to get a vibe of our environment and the way that we're going to play. But they both know the way they play rugby league, and it's not going to change too much this weekend. We just want them to do what they do best as individuals.
And for you guys over the next month or so of the season, what for you is going to be a successful end of the season? What are you looking for from the team? What are you going to try and take out, and what do you want from it heading into next year?
Yeah, so there's obviously you want to win games, but I think for us it's been disappointing, not so much just the losses, but the way that we've lost and how much pressure we've put ourselves under and hurt ourselves with, our own errors, our own mistakes and things that we can control. I think for us, closing this last month of footy off, it's about doing really well the things that we can control in the game, and that's, our discipline around penalties, our end of sets, our completions, particularly coming out of yardage. We've got a team full of competitors and blokes that, we all work hard for each other, and our effort's always there. I don't think that's ever been questioned from this playing group, but for us, it'd be about tidying up those areas that we can control and at least giving ourselves a chance to win the game rather than taking it away from ourselves.
Jack Hetherington, how's he going? Is there a bit of frustration? Do you feel that Jack might be targeted because of his history and, targeted by the refs or the judiciary at all?
Be careful how I answer this. I think Jack's extremely disappointed. He's come over here and done everything right from his first day of pre-season. And pushed hard to be that starting front row for us. Every opportunity he's got, he's jumped at. He's been a great addition for our team. So for him to be missing out on games again, he's devastated. He's obviously wants to be out there playing every weekend, and we want him to as well. And it's frustrating and disappointing for us as a club not to have him out there. I suppose it just comes with the game's changing, and I suppose the style that, a lot of front rowers probably made their mark in the NRL for a few years now. Going back a few years, it's changing, and we've all had to adapt a little bit. And Jack knows that he's through that stage now where he's trying to adapt parts of his game, but also without losing what makes him the player that he is. So there's a few little areas there that obviously can be tidied up, but I wouldn't change Jack and the way that he plays and the way he approaches the games for the world. We just obviously need to figure out how we can get him out there each week.
Adam, just on that, Keegan here from the Sydney Morning Herald. I just wanted to know, I guess for you guys, there's a lot of professional fouls sort of going on at the moment. Do you think it's, a bit about the lead up to the finals? And are you feeling like it's a bit more, I guess, tense out there as you sort of get to, teams trying to, rally into the top 8?
Professional fouls?
Yeah.
I think, I don't know, I suppose the game this year, there has been a few rule changes, and there's been, a few, like I just said then, a few ways that players have had to adapt and, get used to the way the new game's shaping up. But I don't know. I haven't noticed in particular the last few weeks whether there's been more penalties or not. I think for us, it's obviously frustrating. We want to tidy up certain parts of our game and, like I said before, control what we can control and take the penalties out of the equation. But to be honest, I don't watch too much other football other than the review and preview that I do on the games that we've got coming up the next week. So, I know there was a few sin bins and things over the weekend, but I think that's been going on all year.
Thanks. And just one other thing I wanted to ask. We've seen sort of this week and over the last sort of month, our Olympians sort of coming out and encouraging people to get the jab. Do you think if it's a bit of chatter now that, the NRL could probably help you guys, Panthers, Eels, Tigers, in terms of, getting those vaccination rates up in those sort of areas for you guys? Do you think the ones that, there would be some boys of your group that would sort of be happy to do that and sort of encourage people to get the jab?
I think that's a very individual thing. I think
a
very individual question. You couldn't really ask one person of the squad what the majority of the team would look at doing or what other people would look at doing. I'm best mates with a few blokes in this team, and I wouldn't be able to tell you which way they're sort of leaning with it, and they probably wouldn't know where I sit with it either. So I think it's like I said, very individual. I think we all want the best outcome collectively, but I also think it's comes down to individual choice for sure.
I guess the ones that individually do sort of back the vaccine, do you think that would be, something that they would be happy to do, is sort of, help it in that way and sort of encourage other people to get the jab?
Oh, to be honest, I think that we're rugby league players and professional sportsmen, and our jobs are tough, and we're in the spotlight enough. And I think we should be always putting more effort and more focus into performing as rugby league players, and not so much worrying about politically and what's going on. And I know that it certainly could rub a few people the wrong way. And we've got a wide audience of, NRL members as a whole, but particularly the Bulldogs, our fan base and our members. I think it's something that you've got to be really careful with and how involved you want to be. And like I said, I think we should probably stick to playing rugby league, and we can, we're sitting 16th, so we can definitely put a lot more effort and energy into playing better footy rather than being spokespeople for the jab.
Yeah, awesome. Thanks, mate. Appreciate it.
Cheers.
Hey, Adam, it's Corey Hammond from Win News Illawarra. Congrats on the milestone, mate.
Hey, brother. Thank you. It's good to see you.
Yeah, you too, mate. Mate, I just want to, just on that, I want to take you back to obviously just talk us through the journey of how your love of football started, obviously down there in Group 16 country with the Tarthra Sea Eagles, mate. What was that like? And, how did that set you on the path to where you are today?
Yeah, it's something that like I said earlier, I don't really take into account too many individual achievements in rugby league. I think it's a team sport, and the team should always be, put first. But I have reflected on the 100 games, because it's been a bit of a journey, and it's been a tough one for me to get here. And there was probably times that I didn't realise I'd get here either. And I think it definitely just comes back to how much I do love the game and love the sport. I think, and I love the club, how much I love the Bulldogs, and how much I want to be a part of this team. And I think, I started playing footy when I was 6 years old back in Tathra for the Sea Eagles, and played all my junior footy there. And, it's been pretty widely well known that my older brother James has autism, and he's only a year, 18 months older than me. So growing up, it was, rugby league for me was stability. It was my family away from my family at times when they had to put a lot of focus into, helping James and progressing him as much as they could. And, thankfully both my parents, they were very hands-on and sacrificed a lot to help my brother, because he's come in leaps and bounds, and anyone close to him and our family, know how important that was. But that just meant, I gravitated towards sport, and particularly rugby league. And that helped me love the game even more. It was, like I just said, it was my family away from my family. And I still look at it as that now. I absolutely love the Bulldogs, and I love the blokes that I play with. And, to be able to say I've played 100 games and I'm representing Tathra and the area that I come from, something I'm really proud of.
Great stuff, mate. And you speak so passionately about the Bulldogs, and that's despite having had such a lean run in recent years. But are you really confident with the signings, and with Baz there now, and with Gus, that things will turn around, and that you could be entering a premiership window in the next few years?
Oh, mate, I'm extremely excited about what's coming. I think from the moment Trent Barrett has been appointed as head coach here, I've put all of my trust in the way that the club's going, the direction that we're going in. And I just re-signed here as well. And although I do love the club, part of that signing was because I can see success in the near future. And there's still a lot of hard work ahead. We've got 6 or 7 new people coming in, and although they're some really quality players, it's still going to be a fairly new team, particularly early rounds next year. So the pre-season is going to be really important for us, but I don't see any reason why we can't work our way up that ladder as far as we want to, and as far as we're willing to what we're willing to put out to get up there. And I think the blokes that are coming on board are going to challenge fellas like me, fellas like Jacko, and these blokes that we've all been here and been together for a while now. We've got some really quality fellas coming in that are just going to help drive those standards.